Avengers Doomsday fan script, written by TKO based on characters from Marvel. Act 1. Future of Mankind. Our story begins in another universe. A universe that looks almost like our own, until the blip. Streets once bustling with life are eerily quiet, the skyline haunted by empty echoes. News broadcasts flicker across abandoned screens, replaying footage of vanished millions. But for Tony Stark, the silence was personal. When Thanos snapped his fingers, half of all life vanished. In this world, Tony Stark lost the two people who grounded him most, Pepper Potts and James Rhodes. Their absence left a void he couldn't ignore, a home without laughter, a life without warmth. The genius, the billionaire, the hero, was suddenly alone. And for Tony Stark, grief turned into something much darker, obsession. Every night, he stared at the empty chair where Pepper used to sit. Every morning, he looked at the empty room where Rhodey had trained. Memories haunted him, their smiles, their jokes, their unwavering trust. And with each memory, his frustration grew. He had faced gods and monsters, yet here he was, powerless against the simplest, cruelest force of all, fate. When Scott Lang returned from the quantum realm, he pitched the idea of a time heist, a chance to undo it all. But unlike the Tony we know, this Stark didn't believe in second chances. He didn't see hope in bending time. He wasn't going to gamble on magic or luck or anyone else's mercy. No, he wanted something bigger, something permanent. He redirected his genius, pouring every sleepless night into a new obsession: multiversal travel. If one universe could take everything from him, maybe another could give it back, or maybe every universe had to be controlled. Schematics sprawled across every wall, a chaotic constellation of ideas and inventions. Energy readings bent physics itself. Artificial intelligence evolved faster than the human mind. Each formula, each machine, each experiment was a step towards something that could rival the gods themselves. The device pulsed with potential, a testament to human ingenuity and human obsession. Tony's search led him somewhere unexpected, to Kamar Taj, to the Ancient One herself. The sanctum was quiet, shrouded in mist and secrets older than time. She saw a man broken, consumed by paranoia, a man who shouldn't learn the mystic arts, but who refused to take no for an answer. In this universe, without Stephen Strange to take the mantle, the Ancient One bent the rules. She trained Stark in secrets he was never meant to know. Ancient spells fused with quantum calculations, enchantments written in code and light. Logic intertwined with chaos, and Stark drank it in, mind ablaze with power, tech and sorcery, logic and chaos. Tony's mind, now powered by something greater than science. He experimented with Ultron, perfecting what had failed in another timeline. A sentinel not just smart, but guided by principles of order and absolute protection. He didn't just create a weapon, he created a guardian to enforce his will globally. He pitched a world government on his idea of a suit of armor around the planet. They rejected him, politicians blinded by fear and morality. But one nation did not: Latveria, a hidden country, scarred by war, weary of chaos, willing to follow a man who promised safety at any cost. Under Doom's rule, Latveria transformed, cities rebuilt with precision, security enforced with unflinching order, weapons, shields, armies of perfected Ultron sentries. To his people, he was salvation; to the world, a threat. But power has consequences. Doom's multiversal experiments began tearing at the fabric of reality itself. Universes collided, realities overlapped, incursions. The Time Variance Authority arrived, offering him a way out. To prune timelines, reset everything. Doom didn't bow. He fought the TVA, dismantling agents, cornering Mobius for answers. And what he learned changed everything. The multiverse was fragile, held together by Loki, the god of stories. Not a conqueror, not a villain, a godlike anchor who kept reality from collapsing. Doom realized if he could steal Loki's powers, he could stop incursions, control the multiverse, protect his own universe. Mobius warned him. Anchor beings like Loki could end universes if disturbed. But to Doom, this was opportunity. To save his world, he would remake all reality in his image. But before he could act, a flash of orange light appeared behind Doom. Before Doom could react, Mobius shoved him with all his strength. Doom stumbled backward, roaring in anger, only to vanish into the shimmering portal Mobius slammed open. Doom landed with a crash, not in Latveria, not at the end of time, but in the midst of the Council of Kangs, dozens of time-traveling variants staring at him in confusion and alarm. He had no idea where he was. The Kangs whispered, evaluating this unexpected intruder. "Where am I? Who are you?" Startled, the Kangs attacked. Doom fought instinctively, tech and sorcery weaving together in a dance of raw power and survival. Every strike, every spell, improvisation against overwhelming numbers. Meanwhile, back at the TVA, Mobius watched, breathing heavily. "Well, that should slow him down," he muttered, shaking his head. Act 2. Vengeance from the Grave. Smoke curled through the shattered halls of the TVA, consoles sparking and alarms faintly blaring. B-15 moved cautiously, scanning the room for survivors. She found him slumped against a mangled console, suit torn and bruised. Mobius. His tempad lay shattered at his side. "Mobius," B-15 called, rushing over. "What happened?" Mobius groaned, pushing himself upright. "Stark. Doom. I'm not really sure. He hit us hard. He tore through TVA defenses like they were paper. He's going after anchor beings. Loki, Franklin Richards, anyone holding reality together." B-15 processed this, her expression hardening. "So this isn't just a local problem. He could unravel everything." "Exactly," Mobius said, wincing as he rubbed his shoulder. "And he's not doing it out of malice. He thinks he's saving the multiverse. Ends the universes he deems weak. Prevents incursions. But the cost is catastrophic. He's methodical, calculating, unstoppable." B-15 straightened, determination setting in. "Then we can't wait. We need to act. If Stark wants to play God, we need to make sure the anchors survive." Mobius raised an eyebrow. "Go on. I've seen what 1005 Deadpool and Wolverine can do. We can station them to protect Loki," B-15 said. "But that's not enough. Blade, expert in dark threats. Elektra, stealth, lethal precision. Gambit, explosives, unpredictability. X-23. She's basically a one-woman army. They're perfect for what we need." Mobius tilted his head, impressed despite his injuries. "You're saying we pull operatives from outside TVA jurisdiction?" B-15 nodded firmly. "Yes, fast, surgical. This isn't about protocol, it's about survival. And 616, let's be honest, they practically have no Avengers. They need serious help." Mobius smirked. "You mean alternate universe help?" "Exactly," B-15 replied. "The Spider-Men who crossed into 616 briefly, they can stabilize the chaos while Deadpool, Wolverine, and the rest of us handle critical anchor protection missions." Mobius leaned back, a slow smile spreading across his face. "I like it. A TVA task force led by you. Clever, proactive, slightly insane." B-15 tapped her fingers on the console. "Deadpool and Wolverine cover Loki. Everyone else hits universes, at risk, anchors in danger. Spider-Men stabilize 616 and handle the front lines. Simple. Effective." Mobius chuckled, shaking his head. "You realize this is insane, right?" B-15's eyes sparkled with determination. "Insane? Maybe. Effective? Definitely." He tapped a few buttons on his broken tempad, sending out communications to the first recruits. "Let's get this team assembled. The multiverse isn't going to save itself, and Stark isn't waiting around." B-15 exhaled sharply, already strategizing. "All right, let's see if we can stop him before he ends everything." Back at Kyiv, the Council of Kangs, Doom staggered to his feet, eyes glowing behind his cracked mask. Interesting, he muttered. You operate above the multiverse, yet leave it vulnerable. The head of the council, a regal Kang crowned in golden circuitry, stepped forward. Intruder. Who dares enter the council uninvited? I do, Doom said simply, and I do not negotiate. Energy beams lanced across the room. Doom rolled, absorbing some with mystic shields, sending others ricocheting back. His gauntlets flared with arcane fire and nanotech energy. The Kangs countered in perfect synchronization, phasing through time-streamed illusions, manipulating reality. Doom didn't flinch. Predictable, he growled, extending his armored fist. A wave of mystic force detonated, sending 3 Kangs crashing through chamber walls. The remaining Kang summoned a synchronized strike, a massive temporal beam. Doom didn't dodge. He channeled every ounce of tech, sorcery, and multiversal knowledge he had, forming a counterbeam infused with reality-warping energy. The collision shattered the chamber, temporal shockwaves cascading outward. Doom walked forward through debris, armor scorched but intact. One by one, the Kangs fell. Some attempted micro-time loops, but Doom anticipated them all, ripping their temporal anchors apart with precision strikes. Finally, the head Kang rose, exhausted but defiant. You cannot control time itself. That is our destiny. Doom knelt slightly, pressing his gauntlet to the floor. Energy surged outward, fracturing the temporal anchors holding the council together. The remaining Kangs were trapped in suspended timelines, frozen echoes of themselves. I do not seek to control time, Doom said coldly. I seek to end what endangers reality, and none of you can stop me. He turned, stepping through the portal back to his universe, leaving the council broken, defeated, silenced. Back in Latveria, Doom began constructing his Doomsday plan. He realized the risk of pursuing Loki directly. Stealing the god of story's power was far from guaranteed. First, he neutralized lesser threats. He scanned universes, identified anchor beings with minimal defenses, and deployed Doombots to eliminate them systematically. Each mission left universes scarred or abandoned, but none posed a serious challenge. These attacks did not go unnoticed. The TVA mobilized. Mobius B-15 and the newly assembled Anchor Being Task Force, Blade Electra Gambit X-23, were sent to protect these universes from Doombots. A montage unfolded. Universes saved as the TVA task force protected Nick Cage's Ghost Rider, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Tom Cruise's Iron Man, and Mahershala Ali's Blade. Deadpool and Wolverine stationed at the end of time to guard Loki. But Doom remained undeterred. Each encounter refined his strategy. Each failure was data. His focus never wavered. Loki, the glue of the multiverse itself, his last resort if 616's defenses failed. The multiverse quaked under his ambition. Small incursions exploded into larger ones. Finally, Doom set his sights on Franklin Richards in Earth 8-28, whose cosmic readings rivaled Loki's. Attempting to seize Franklin triggered a catastrophic 8-28 incursion, forcing the Fantastic Four to evacuate with the child aboard their multiversal ship. Doom was forced to retreat but not defeated. The vessel warped through a chaotic tear in reality, heading for 616, the hub of the multiverse. Doom's obsession had now grown. Weaken 616, capture Franklin, and if he fails, take on Loki himself. Force 3. Worlds collide. The multiversal ship shuddered as it tore through the rift, the sky above 616 splitting like fractured glass. Reed Richards gripped the controls, his brow furrowed with intense focus. Sue Storm hovered near him, her hands glowing as she stabilized the ship with invisible force fields. Johnny Storm's flames licked the edges of the hull, keeping it from destabilizing further, while Ben Grimm braced against the trembling deck, fists clenched, ready for whatever awaited them. When the vessel finally landed, the cityscape of 616 loomed before them, a familiar yet subtly different reality. The streets were alive with heroes already responding to Doom's incursions. Sam Wilson, Joaquin Torres Falcon, the new Avengers, Star-Lord, Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, Daredevil, Punisher, and Spider-Man, guiding civilians to safety. Shuri, M'Baku, and Namor are all occupied with Doombots terrorizing neighboring African countries. The air crackled with sorcery and energy, the remnants of Doom's multiversal attack still lingering in the atmosphere. "Everyone stay sharp," Reed warned, scanning the streets with his portable sensors. "We don't know who or what is waiting for us." From the wreckage of a shattered building, a figure stepped forward. Sam Wilson, shield at the ready with Bucky, John Walker and Yelena at his side, observing the newcomers with cautious scrutiny. "You just jumped into the middle of our problems. You've got a lot to explain." Sue floated forward, hands raised in calm. "We didn't come here by choice. A man, he's pursuing Franklin Richards, our son. Our universe is collapsing because of an incursion. We need to work together, or we all lose." Before Sam could respond, the ground trembled violently. Doom's Doombots, having already arrived ahead of the Fantastic Four, surged from the streets, their mechanical forms glinting in the fractured sunlight. The 616 heroes immediately engaged them, and the Fantastic Four leapt into action. Reed extended, elongating his body to sweep multiple bots into the air simultaneously. Sue created massive force fields to shield civilians and teammates alike. Johnny launched a flurry of flame blasts, incinerating several Doombots in one sweeping motion, while Ben charged forward, smashing them apart with his immense strength. "Not bad," Sam muttered, nodding at their coordinated effort. "Looks like we'll be okay working together. For now." As the last Doombots fell, a low rumble echoed through the streets. The air shimmered with energy, the fabric of reality bending unnaturally. Reed's sensors flared, reading an unprecedented surge of multiversal energy. "Something's happening," he said, voice tight with urgency. "Another rift. This one's different." High above, a tear in the sky widened, glowing with a strange violet light. Through it, figures began to emerge, mutants from another universe drawn in by the same multiversal instability that had brought the Fantastic Four. James Marsden's Cyclops led the charge, eyes glowing red as he stabilized the group. Halle Berry, storm hovered above, wind and lightning whipping around her. Henry Cavill Wolverine slashed through the rift's residue, claws sparking against the reality energy, while Famke Janssen Jean Grey's telekinesis steadied the others as they descended. Behind them, Alan Cumming Nightcrawler teleported with rapid precision, making entrances and exits that disoriented Doombots and nearby civilians alike. 616? Cyclops asked, scanning the chaos below. "Looks like we've arrived at the right place at the right time, or maybe the wrong time." Reed's eyes widened. "You're not from this universe, but we can use you. Someone is here looking to abduct my son." Storm's voice was calm, yet commanding. "We don't negotiate with tyrants. We stop them. Together." The mutants hit the battlefield running, immediately integrating with the 616 heroes and the Fantastic Four. Sam Wilson's shield met Nightcrawler's teleportation-assisted strikes. Spider-Man flanked Jean Grey as she used telekinesis to shield civilians. From the rift, the mutants' vehicles and tech began materializing, X-jet fighters, as well as Kelsey Grammer Beast, Binary, and Monica Rambeau coming to the aid. Reed and Sue coordinated, creating force fields that allowed the newcomers to deploy without collateral damage. Johnny's flames and Ben's strength opened pathways, while Cyclops unleashed optic blasts to disable incoming Doombots. "Seems like your arrival wasn't entirely unplanned," Sam Wilson muttered, noting how the X-Men immediately fell into defensive positions alongside 616 heroes. Jean Grey looked to Franklin in the distance, sensing the child's immense power. "We protect him at all costs. He's central to this. To everything." The sky above 616 split with a deafening crack as Latveria's multiversal ship descended. Energy surged across the city, flickering in impossible colors, and every hero on the battlefield froze for a heartbeat, sensing the arrival of something monumental. Then he stepped down. The ground trembled under his armor. Doombots surged forward, blasting energy through the streets. A stray strike from debris knocked his helmet askew, revealing the face beneath. Tony Stark. The 616 heroes froze in disbelief. Sam Wilson's shield wavered. Spider-Man swung mid-air, eyes wide as muttered, under his breath stunned. "Mr. Stark?" To the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, however, there was no recognition, only a terrifying figure in near impenetrable armor, moving with precision and ruthlessness. Reed Richards' brow furrowed as he scanned the armor's tech. Sue Storm floated, tensely with force fields ready, and Cyclops instinctively raised his visor. They had never seen a man fight like this, but they knew immediately he was powerful and dangerous. Doom's amplified voice rang out. "Tony Stark is gone. What remains is Doom. The Hand of Doom will remake reality." Act 4, The Sacred Battle. The heroes tried to regroup. Reed's sensors flared, tracking the Doombots while Cyclops coordinated counterattacks. The X-Men, Fantastic Four, and 616 heroes integrated quickly, weaving a web of defensive positions across the battlefield. Suddenly, two figures swung into the chaos, webs lashing across collapsing buildings. Toby and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Men landed atop a crumbling skyscraper, eyes scanning the scene with practiced precision. "Looks like we showed up just in time," he quipped, firing webs to disarm Doombots raining down on terrified civilians. Doom moved through the battlefield with terrifying efficiency, parrying attacks, dismantling robots, and weaving sorcery into every strike. Even the combined might of heroes, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and now two Spider-Men could not guess his true target. Far from the chaos, at the end of time, Loki, the god of stories, waited. Deadpool and Wolverine stood guard, the only barrier between Doom and ultimate multiversal power. All the while, Doom's gaze never left his prize. Loki. Using the chaos on 616 as cover, he opened a small, precise portal through time and space, unseen by the battling heroes. Through it, glimpses of the end of time shimmered, an infinite void of swirling stars, collapsing realities, and temporal currents twisting at impossible angles. Loki hovered at the center, energy flaring like a living tapestry of the multiverse itself. Deadpool and Wolverine moved in tandem, ready for whatever Doom might throw through the portal. Then the portal tore open, a jagged wound in reality, shimmering with blue and gold, and Doom stepped through. His armor glowed with a fusion of arcane energy and advanced technology. The end of time shuddered at his presence, reality itself recoiling. "Loki," Doom intoned, voice echoing across the void. "The power you guard belongs to me now. The multiverse will kneel." Loki's eyes ignited, magic crackling like lightning. "You don't understand what you're touching, Doom. This power isn't yours to take." The void itself shivered as Doom began siphoning Loki's essence. Threads of the multiverse bent violently around him. Deadpool and Wolverine lunged, claws and katanas flashing, but Doom's combined mastery of sorcery and technology kept them at bay. Act 5, Hand of Doom. Thor sat cross-legged on a floating platform of golden stone, the wind rustling his adopted daughter Love's hair as she perched beside him. The stars of the multiverse shimmered faintly above them, a rare moment of peace after centuries of conflict. "I like it here," Love said softly, watching the glow of distant realms. "It's quiet. Safe." Thor smiled, ruffling her hair. "Aye. Even gods need a moment of peace, especially after everything." Suddenly, the air quivered. A sound distant but piercing cut through the serenity. A scream. Thor's eyes snapped open. It was unmistakable. Loki. He leapt to his feet, hammer at the ready, senses straining across dimensions. "Loki!" he roared, fury and fear intertwining. "Where are you?" For a heartbeat, Thor froze. Memories flooded back. The devastation of Asgard, the fall of his brother at Thanos' hands, the grief he thought he had buried. And now, here he was, screaming, being torn apart by someone Thor once called a friend. Tony Stark. Love clung to him, eyes wide. "Thor, what's happening?" "I do not know," he admitted, voice tight. But someone is hurting him. I can feel it. Thor strained against the threads of the multiverse, listening, following the faint echo of Loki's screams. The Avengers had no way to contact him. He was isolated in this sanctuary, far from Earth. Yet the bond he shared with his brother guided him, pulling him toward the end of time, where Loki was trapped and in danger. Thor tightened his grip on his hammer, love steady at his side. Hold on, brother, I am coming. No one will take you from me again. The winds of time whipped around them as Thor prepared to launch, leaving the temporary peace behind. Far beyond his home, Doom's plan was unfolding, and the god of thunder was about to arrive, too late to stop the initial devastation, but in time to witness what his old friend, now enemy, was truly capable of. No. Loki! Thor bellowed, lightning arcing from Stormbreaker. His energy surged, tearing through Stark's shields. Thor's sudden burst of godly power shocked even Doom, who had assumed all attention would be fixed on the sixth 1-6 battle, not the end of time. Thor's fury was palpable. Every strike of lightning, every hammer swing resonated with his bond to Loki, his guilt, his rage, and his desperate need to protect his brother. Doom's armor glowed brighter, the siphoning intensifying, but Thor's awareness was precise. He knew exactly where Loki was, felt every strain Doom's grasp placed on him. Thor's eyes burned with determination. He wasn't just fighting a villain. He was trying to save the brother he thought he had lost forever while facing the man who had once worn his friend's face. Every strike of Doom's gauntlet, every surge of stolen power, now had a counterweight. Thor's divine connection to Loki, driven by grief and fury. The end of time quaked under the clash of gods, mutants, and mercenaries. Deadpool and Wolverine fought ferociously to keep Doom from reaching Loki, but every strike only delayed the inevitable. Loki's magic flared, twisting in defense, but Doom's combination of sorcery and technology was unparalleled, calculated to exploit the smallest weakness. Doom's gauntlet shot forward, cracking Loki's magical defenses. The god of stories screamed, threads of reality twisting violently as his essence was drawn into Doom. Deadpool slashed, Wolverine lunged, Thor hurled a thunderous blow, but it was too late. With a final surge, Doom completed the siphoning. Loki's power, his connection to the multiverse, the threads that held reality together, now flowed through Doom. The void of the end of time rippled violently, the very laws of reality bending to the will of a man who had once been Tony Stark. Doom stood tall, his armor glowing with cosmic, mystical, and technological energy combined. The end of time itself seemed to bow to him, stars and alternate realities twisting like clay. Deadpool and Wolverine staggered back, powerless to undo the theft. Loki collapsed, weakened, stripped of his powers, his connection to the multiverse severed, Thor crying by his side. Thor clenched his fists, energy surging, eyes locked on the rift. "This isn't over," he growled. "We'll find a way. We must." With a sweeping motion, Doom unleashed the full force of Loki's god of stories power. Across the multiverse, universes shimmered, twisted, and collapsed one by one. Stars blinked out, galaxies folded into themselves, worlds disintegrated into nothingness. Heroes, civilizations, entire realities vanished like echoes in a void. Even the X-Men's universe, the Fantastic Four's universe, and the realities tied to 616 trembled under his assault. The rifts flared, then snapped shut. Doom stood alone, at the center of the end of time, the sole ruler of a single universe, his Latveria-based reality. The void around him was absolute silence, the multiverse reduced to a solitary, perfect kingdom under his control. "You see, Loki," Doom began, calm but cold, "you and your anchors, the threads you guard so carefully, are fragile. Each universe, each timeline is a candle in a storm. Left unchecked, these worlds would collide, collapse, and destroy each other. Incursions are inevitable." Loki struggled to rise, magic flickering weakly. What are you saying? You've killed them all." "Yes," Doom said, gesturing to the void around them. Every universe outside mine, every world, every anchor, every life. I have ended them, because your protection is not enough. Chaos waits at every branch, at every fracture. Without decisive action, the multiverse itself would devour itself in an endless cycle of destruction. You call this protection? Loki spat, trembling. This is tyranny. Doom's eyes, bright behind his helmet, didn't waver. Call it what you will. I am not here to play hero. I am here to survive, to control. Your multiverse cannot endure unless it is united under one hand, one mind, one world that will not falter. Mine. Loki's expression hardened. And what of free will? Choice? Every universe had its own stories, its own people. They were weak, Doom replied simply. Every universe outside mine is a risk, a failure waiting to happen. Only through absolute order, through my vision, can this cycle end. Incursions will never happen again. Collapse will never threaten life again. The cost was necessary. Deadpool swung his swords helplessly, muttering, "Vanessa." Doom turned, raising his gauntlet. Energy from every erased universe pulsed through him, threads of power bending reality around his will. Remember this, Loki. I did not destroy for pleasure. I destroyed to prevent annihilation. And now, all existence outside my control is gone. Only my universe survives. Only my Latveria endures. Only Doom remains. Yet, he added, I still showed mercy, sparing the heroes on Earth, you and your bodyguards. Doom's silhouette radiated power in the void. Yes, and from this point forward, there is only my order, only my reality. The end of time fell silent. Every universe outside his own had ceased to exist. Every thread of chaos eliminated. And in that silence, Doom reigned supreme, justified in his mind, unchallenged and absolute. Screen goes to black. Dr. Doom will return in Avengers Secret Wars. Hand of Doom by Black Sabbath plays over the credits. No post-credits scene. The end. That was Avengers Doomsday, written by TKO, based on characters from Marvel. Thank you for watching. Comment your predictions for Avengers Doomsday and like and subscribe.